The Birdland Caravan has been parked after 4 days, going across the state of Maryland. I think the biggest thing that I learned, and the most important thing during those 4 days, is that there's actually a brewery in Odenton off Telegraph Road. I grew up in Severn, about 2 minutes away from it. I guarantee you I would have known if there was a brewery there. So a Crooked Crab Brewing Company must have popped up after I moved out of Anne Arundel County. Beyond that, there's other important stuff too, of course, and a big one was Mike Elias Friday morning meeting with the media on the 6th floor of the warehouse and stating the rebuild is behind them. I still say that's what liftoff meant, so it's not the first time that he's given that indication, but I guess the phrasing was strong enough and clear enough that it really resonated with fans and media beyond what he said back in August about, yes, the liftoff. It's really the same thing. It means that they're done looking at ways to keep pumping talent into the minors without any consideration really for the major league product and wins and losses. They're going to keep pumping that talent, but winning really does matter now, and they think they can do it consistently and be a perennial contender. Beyond that, I think it was really important when Mike Elias seemed to indicate that DL Hall could maybe perhaps be optioned and stay in a rotation down in AAA if he doesn't make the Oriole rotation, as opposed to just sending him into the bullpen as potentially dominant lefty. That could still happen. We're a long way off from March 30th in Boston, but they really are developing him still as a starter. That's how they view him. That part we all knew, and he will be given every chance to make the rotation. But I thought it was pretty much a certainty that they take that talented arm and put it in the pen if he didn't make it. Again, it could still happen, but they could also decide, you know what, we still want him starting and a spot will open later, and he goes down to AAA. It was important to find out from John Means that he's throwing from 140 feet, all fastballs with a crow hop, and he'll be throwing off a slope the first Monday in camp. So he's progressing really well from Tommy John. It was also interesting, really, that the club thinks that July at the earliest is when he could return. And that's fine. That's a big addition. It's like a trade deadline addition without making a trade. But I guess any thought of June is out. But the important thing is that he's feeling really good. He said the best he's ever felt. He's doing things as well in the offseason to kind of strengthen that shoulder so he doesn't have any repeat problems with the weakness in it. So he's feeling really good. He's progressing well. Nick Vespi claimed that he could be ready opening day, really expects it after having hernia surgery. We made the assumption, of course, that he would be out at the beginning, but he thinks that he could be ready for opening day, and that would be a second lefty in the pen with Cino Perez, potentially if DL Hall's not in the pen. And it was also interesting that Taron Valver's not wasting any time. He's taking ground balls now and working out at first base, figuring why should he wait till spring training, because he is a candidate to be that left-handed hitting backup at first, as well as everything else that he's able to bring. And I think the last thing is Grayson Rodriguez. The expectation still is that he is in the rotation. He'd probably have to pitch his way off of it right now. Not as guaranteed as Kyle Gibson and Cole Irvin, but pretty sure that he's going to make it. He would really have to have a disastrous camp, and no one's anticipating that. So it looks like he would be the third of what is still projected to be a 5-man rotation. So those are some of the big takeaways from the Birdland Caravan.